I remember when I started my first business, I knew that cash flow was important, so I went and got myself a zero account and an accountant, and thinking that was all I was going to need, I set out with the confidence of a 25-year-old life coach, and it didn't take me long to realise that there was actually this third missing tool, because those things were great for, compliance and tax and making sure I stayed out of prison, but they didn't do much for actually handling my day-to-day quick questions. Things like, can I afford to make the payroll this month? Can I afford to hire that person or buy that truck or invest in my business? And so I started looking for, surely there is a tool out there that will actually solve this problem for me. And every tool was built for accountants. It was confusing, hard to use, overwhelming, and quite frankly, pretty ugly. And so eventually I just realized I need to just build this tool myself. I used it to turn my business around, gave it to hundreds of business owners all over the world, and that became Hello Cashflow. What we do is we don't replace your accountant, we don't replace your accounting software, but what we do is we plug into it, we bring all the numbers to life in a way that a business owner thinks and actually understands. And when they understand it, well, now they can actually make quick, confident decisions, and they can actually sleep at night. They no longer need to worry about things like, seeing their cash flow. They can see it in advance and prevent shortages. They can test, what would actually happen if I hired that person or bought that piece of equipment. We also can generate reports where even their spouse might sit with them, and trust we're finding is broken between lots of business owners' spouses and partners and staff. And so they can sit and understand the numbers clearly. And we're just finishing up our AI Insights, which brings all of the risks and even opportunities that business owners would never even think to ask about or come to life. Because those numbers tell a story, they can't see it. We help them see the story. There's over 19 million business owners on the top 4 accounting softwares alone in the Western world. And we've already connected to 2 of the largest ones, Xero and QuickBooks. What's really cool is that most financial products for accountants are sold to accountants, and what we have that's really special is our product is loved by business owners, so we can actually sell to them directly, so we don't have those huge acquisition costs. And in our process of onboarding people, we actually connect their accountant, they see the radical transformation with that client, and then they want to upgrade themselves to an advisor account and sign up all of their own clients. We have spent the last couple of years, we've bootstrapped ourselves to our first 500 customers, launched a little safe round, got a lead investor who's very impressive, and we've got an amazing team. We've got Nigel, who was the CTO of Infometrics, amazing economist and developer. Shahan helped scale a non-profit across New Zealand, managing hundreds of volunteers and staff. And Kate and I built the largest private music school in New Zealand, took the IP and helped scale over 400 music schools around the world. A couple of ways that you can get involved with us today if you like. If you want to get in early and be in that last little bit of cash in our investment round, or if you want to use it for your own business, or maybe you're working with small business owners and you'd like to get this in front of them. This is something I wished someone would have given to me 10 years ago. Thank you very much.
So look, firstly, thank you to all the founders who took the stage this morning at the pitch. Look, the judges were particularly impressed by the winners' ability to really articulate the problem that they had in front of them. Can I have a big round of applause for Hello Cashflow? We'll start.
Yeah, so we're called Hello Cashflow. I remember starting my first business, really struggling to understand the finances, the cash flow. Why was I profitable but still running out of money for payroll and things like that? And every solution was basically built for accountants, really hard to understand, exhausting to set up. And so we eventually evolved an internal tool, which we then scaled out to hundreds of other businesses around the world, and then it's become a software called Hello Cashflow that you can check out at hellocashflow.com. And what was it? I'm going to plug it, yeah.
What was the thing behind starting a company? What was the why, I suppose, behind it to start with?
There's a lot of great moments that I could pinpoint, but I'll start with one of the worst ones. I remember sitting and thinking, I can't understand these numbers. I'll get into a spreadsheet, I'll try and figure this out, what's going on. And I remember this very early on in business, probably
10, 12 years ago, and I remember showing my wife, hey, if we do this, if we execute this way in our small business, I think that we could, turn things around, we could make some money. And she just said, honey, I've seen you do this all before. I just don't believe you. And it was true. I just, as a business owner, I had all the fire and the fury, and I could get on stage and I had this awesome highlight reel, but I just didn't understand the cash flow. And most of our income in the country actually comes from small business owners, but if they don't understand the cash flow and the finances, they're too scared to spend the money in their own bank account. Therefore, they don't hire that person they could hire. They don't know all the numbers that could lead them to actually invest more in their business, which means growing their own business, their community, creating jobs. And so I just really think that if we can fix small business cash flow, we actually can fix the economy.
Great takeout for me on that. I thought we need to talk about how I should better influence my wife on the things I want to do. I haven't been successful at all, so we'll talk after that one. Where are you now on your journey?
Yeah, so we've been bootstrapping for a couple of years, and we have gone to market in the last few months, got our first sort of 500 plus customers across 5 different countries, got our first lead investor, doing a small capital raise of about 700,000, and we raised about 320 in the last three to 4 weeks. And that's where we're at. So early days, but some really significant traction. And I think what we're hearing from all of our customers is this tool is changing our lives. We can see the amount of money we've wasted, and we wish we had this in our hands 10 years ago.
Yeah. And finally, where are you heading next? Where's the longer vision?
Yeah, I think we're going global. We already are. We're starting. We're very lucky with previous businesses we've created in a particular small niche. We've sort of become number one in that niche. So we're scaling out niche by niche and able to go global. And we really think that, hey, there's over 100 million small businesses within the Western world. There's about 20 million of them connected to the top 4 accounting softwares. We're already connected to the 2 biggest ones. And so we really think that we are actually on the road to actually build $1 billion business out of here in Wellington.
And that's awesome. So, hey, look, thanks, Johnny, and congratulations on the day.